Sunrujaya Security also have the risk guideline for cybersecurity. And also PCI DSS, payment card industry, also have all these guidelines and procedures for you to do cybersecurity. So with all these different organizations, ISO 27000 also have all these risk guidelines. This is from America, the National Institute of Standard and Technology. And this is a very famous and commonly adopted framework. Even in this part of the world, a lot of organizations use this, and a lot of authority, government use this as their guideline to manage your cybersecurity. And all these guidelines, after you implement, they need an auditor. An auditor will come in and say, okay, this is what the guidelines say, and this is where you are, and this is the gap, and you need to audit. And by the way, almost all these guidelines say one thing also. You need to do periodic security awareness training. We have seen many organizations, they fail their security audit. There's a gap that they cannot fill, was that they did not do their security awareness training user. So it means that every year, security awareness training is become one of the mandatory requirements. If you do not do your security awareness training to your staff, you fail your audit. So isn't it a very important role to have for a trainer to keep on doing this to all organizations every year repeatedly, and also to meet all these guidelines. So far I talk about auditor, I talk about trainers. And a lot of people like to say cybersecurity hackers, pen tester. So which is why today I like to say, okay, yes, it's true. Pen tester is one of the very natural career path that people talk about when talking about cybersecurity. Why is that so? Because nowadays it is a well-connected, especially at 5G. Your car now actually is a computer that on the view that she can move you around. Your TV is a computer that can show you screen with entertainment. Your phone is a computer for you to communicate. So all these are computers, and all these little computers, they have little subsystem working with each other. So that means that they actually, from time to time, they have the features to actually being upgraded themselves. This is purposely being built in that way so that individual subsystem of this will be able to upgrade and do more function. And that also create another problem whereby all these little subsystems are working with each other. When they upgrade, they probably created some gap of communication, change of function. Some people call it vulnerability because those are change of function, which sometimes accidentally do, or sometimes purposely done by hackers, so that they can take advantage of those little functions to do something naughty, harmful on their behalf. And that's why vulnerability keep happening. Pen tester job is to find the vulnerabilities. And there are many. So these are just some of them. I don't want to go into technical detail, but for those people who are interested in cybersecurity as a pen tester, you know very well that you actually need to study what is secret injections, what is cross-site scripting, what is drive-by attack. So these are all the little knowledge that you need to know as a pen tester, so that you'll be able to actually find whether your client has such vulnerability, and you give recommendation to solve these problems. All this information are available in the Google. You can actually go and find it. But today I'm not going to go into technical detail of this. But at the end of the day, you start seeing that moving forward, the government, the central bank, is actually enforcing good standard practice. Organizations like IT cybersecurity company, they need to actually get some international recognition. CREST certifications is one of them. And to get CREST certification, many cybersecurity companies like us, they need to hire certified pen tester. Not anyone will be able to fit the bill. So there will be a demand for certain specific certification, which I will talk about it later. One of them is, of course, offensive security. This is the mandatory requirement for some of the certification for organization. So to meet the market needs, we actually highly recommend whoever wants to do a pen test as a career, offensive security, OSCP is something that you want to look into. For someone who wants to become a consultant, who wants the holistic of the entire organization practices, CISSP is highly recommended, and as a company like us, we actually love to hire people like this. Of course, there is another one, it's called Certified Ethical Hacker. And in fact, CES, there is many levels, and we love If we love you, if there is CES as a master layer where you should have the capability, not only just theory. Another one is that the lead auditor. The world is going to have more and more people adopting standardization. ISO is one of the leading, and lead auditor is very high demand. Moving forward, security analysis, security operations center is another thing, and we need to see such kind of certification from this sense organization of GCIH. And the world is going for cloud. People would like to know, hey, are you certified to handle the security aspect of cloud? So this one, GCLD, the cloud certified security specialist will be something that you might want to consider. So of course, these are all the different certification from different organizations, and this is what actually our staff actually having in Nexus. And as a pen do that, they do whatever it takes to find a vulnerability. Not only just, hey, I have done my job, I use these tools, I find the result, there you go, this is the report. No, that is not good enough. Moving forward, a pen tester can actually develop a career as a red teaming. What I mean by red teaming is that in a pen test is that I give you a target. This is the server, this is the IP. I find a vulnerability, I give you a report. But red teaming is more than that. Organization growing concern is that, hey, I have more other area of loophole. I do not, you just don't confine to say, hey, I give you this server, you just find a vulnerability. You should actually tell me what else I need to look into. Red teaming means that the entire different organization, a different way, find the loophole for me. That's what red teaming is all about. Pen tester can develop their career and become a red teaming specialist. Red team means it's more in the attacking. And people talk about blue team. Blue team is more into a defensive, which I will talk a little bit later. Blue team is more into helping a company to find ways to protect the company, while red team is helping the organization to find a way where the hacker can attack you, and you give advice on that. Purple is, of course, the combination of blue and red. It's a collaboration. It's including both sides actually to find a strategy to help the customer more effectively. Another thing is that this is from National Security Council from US. They give they were saying, and which is we agree, which is what I share here. A lot of people say, hey, yeah, a lot of cybersecurity experts they like to achieve advise the customer, which I agree, but this is not all. Hey, they say patch your system, make sure it's up to date. But if your system has been compromised, your priority now is not patch. And there is this new term, people call it assume breach. What it means that let's assume your organization is already being compromised. If that is an assumption, that changes the paradigm of you saving your company. Patching may not be your immediate priority. Compromise assessment shall be. What it means is that let's find how much have you been compromised. Let's do the assessment. Which is why lately, these 2 months, and Bank Negara is issue a memo urging all financial institutions do compromise assessment as soon as possible. They're not talking about red teaming. They're not talking about pen test. They're talking about finding how much have you been compromised, assessing it. So this is another career path. From a pen tester, eventually you can actually become a specialist for compromise assessment. The more you know this, the higher you get paid. Now I'd like to actually talk about security analysis. It's a different role. That's why cybersecurity, you started cybersecurity, you don't end up become a pen tester alone. There is many possible aspects that you can. Security analysis is one of the highly in demand career. This is a statistic. In America, they're talking about compounded annual growth of demand. It's talking about 30%. That means every year, they are increasing 30% of job requirement looking for security analysts alone. Why? Because one of the reasons is that you have seen and you have heard big organizations, and you're not sure those organizations have millions of dollars of investment of whatever their latest firewall, endpoint, latest very expensive technology, AI in place, and how come they are still being hacked? So of course, one of the reasons is that you are as strong as the weakest link. The human is always the problem. But other than the human, you know that last year alone, 1 year, within 1 year, there's 18,000 new vulnerability, new loophole, new possibility available to the hackers. That means that almost every 30 minutes there's a new way made available to the hacker to hack you. This is only last year, not including previously accumulated hundreds of thousands of vulnerability. So which is why firewall are not able to do this, and there is many other reasons. If you not patch up properly, the layer, communication is OSI 7 layer. There are many different layers. If you did not consider properly on all the different layer policies, you have limited layers of policies that will not be able to help you. And there's too many alerts in your firewall. If you don't look at it, also that's dangerous. But there's too much alerts. So which is why people need security analysis. In fact, a lot of people actually have this myth. Oh, I got firewall, I think I'm quite secure. You and I heard, why? How come there's still firewall, but yet they got attacked? Firewall has built from day one until today still very good. They have the latest technology to know any traffic coming from outside to your network. You know, these are the bad guys. They have the way to find out, which is good. The latest technology works quite well. However, firewall until today were not doing a good job to investigate traffic from internal going to outside. It's encrypted, and from internal going to outside, so firewall typically they do not do much things on that. That also explains why phishing become the top threat. Hacker also know that. Hacker also know that the best way for me to compromise your environment is to send you an email, look like a legitimate email, doesn't behave like a virus, and you look at it, it's like, hey, another Domino free voucher or McDonald's promotion, and you click on it. Once you click on it, it creates a communication encrypted, communicate you with outside server. That's where the firewall say, hey, it's encrypted and initiated by internal user, I can't do anything. And that's how phishing happen. That is why you need a security operations center. And security operations center is about people, process, and technology. They actually help you to control your company's security system. They monitor. They actually help you to operate, make sure that who has the right access, who doesn't have, who is the have policy. And when things happen, the analysts need to actually respond, help you to actually mitigate the problem. Simple analogy is that those days, you have a factory, you have office, so you hire security guard on the look at CCTV, look at all the people who are allowed in your office. You have to do something about them, which they're doing something naughty. Same thing. You have the advanced technology of firewall, you have the antivirus, but not enough. You need security analysts sitting there, looking into the CCTV, not CCTV, looking at the system. Especially those people who are allowed in your network, those are people usually sometimes are the culprit. So this is how a SOC looks like in our office. And you sit down there 24/7, looking into what the hacker is doing and detect and respond to them. So of course the bad guy blocked by a firewall, good guy come into a network. No, not necessarily good guy, but they have the right ID and password. They are allowed to come in, and this usually are the culprit. So you need to know what is SIEM, Security Incident Management. Start collecting the data. You need to know how to do correlation with threat intelligence. You need to know the behavior, and then when they detect any abnormal behavior, you inform your customers. So another job prospect that you can look into is security consultant. Again, another type of jobs. Organization eventually want to achieve the objective of security, and security comprises three components: confidentiality of the data, integrity of the data, and the availability of data. They call it the security triad. Then, as a consultant, you go into the organization, you see things from a business point of view. You do not talk about technical. That's why it is very crucial to develop the capability to articulate the impact of cybersecurity in a manner that the businessmen understand. A consultant need to have this kind of capability. You ask the question of, what if there is firewall? What if there's fire in your organization? What if there's flood? What if there's virus? What if people steal your data? a lot of what if questions that you start asking, and then start actually articulating the impact to the organization. When you ask these what if questions, you will look at think at the business point of view, then you do a gap analysis, and then you give the action plan. This is what a consultant do in a simple nutshell. So, and then you will be able to actually demonstrate what are the high impact, high possibility problem, and advise the customers, okay, Mr. Customer, I know money is always not enough, so you should spend your money into the area that is highly possible to happen and highly impact. Do not simply spend money on low risk, low impact. So that's where the customers are seeing the value of a consultant versus a typical salesman who's selling products. So of course, a lot of people choose the career as the IT manager, the security head. So of course, you don't do this. Don't tell the customer, okay, no, the best way is cut off everything. This is not the right thing. So there is many job possibility that you can do in cybersecurity, and this is just some of it. Of course, you can be a risk manager to look into the cyber risk, advising and doing risk assessment, mitigating the risk strategies. You can be a chief information security officer to look into the security for our organization, and these are highly paid job. Or some people say, no, I want to be a security engineer. I want to look into the network layer, help to configure that. You can be a security engineer. Or you can be like me, start off as an engineer, but later you become a sales and marketing guy. And you to be a sales marketing guy, very crucial for you to also behave like a consultant, to able to articulate the features, articulate the impact, the benefit, the pros and cons. And for some of you, you can be entrepreneurs. Cybersecurity business is in demand. It is a good business to look in. So ended up, you shall not be just one single product and go, hey, can I sell you a file to protect your fridge? And also there's another career. What I'm seeing now is that moving forward, there is another type of job is called security solution architect. What it means is like that. An organization, they need to solve their problem. They do not like to talk to a product salesman to come, hey, buy my product, solve my problem. No. They want to actually someone to be able to actually look into the problem and go into the market and find different solutions, architect it, combine those different combination of solutions in the best of breed manner to solve the customer problem in the most practical way. Solution architect is highly in demand. In fact, our company is looking for solution architect because we need someone to be able to actually understand the situation of the customer and come back and look for a solution to solve the problem. That is what a security solution architect is. And another job is cyber forensic. Cyber forensic, you need to know what is the chain of custody. How do you preserve the various different evidence so that you'll be able to actually argue and present the evidence even in the face of a court. So these are the things that you actually can actually look into. Cybersecurity problem is causing trillions of dollars of damages to the world. We are talking about tens of trillions every year. And you are, in fact, every organization compares to your other general insurance of fire or death, you are typically 15 times more possible to get cyber attack than to get fire or theft. P&C is property and casualty. Cyber claim is actually showing that this is from another organization showing that direct or indirect claim of insurance, the premium that you need to buy to actually to secure yourself is increasing every year. So that means that the risk of cybersecurity is increasing. The demand for cyber insurance is getting higher. This is another one. Cyber insurance is something that we are actually seeing that is growing very fast. We are talking about year on year, 27% compounded annual growth rate of demand of cyber insurance. When it comes to cyber insurance, the next question is that, so what do I do if I want to actually involve cyber insurance industry? You have seen people talking about the adjuster for car, the actuaries for cyber, the actuaries for the claim for the risk. But in Malaysia, or in fact in this region, which I was just trying to look around, there isn't really an expert about cyber insurance in terms of the the risk, the actual risk calculation, the adjuster, the someone who is able to sell the risk about cyber insurance, but it will be in great demand. So this is something that I like to highlight. Even ourselves, we actually buy cyber insurance to insure ourselves. As a cyber security company, we want to insure ourselves too. So you will see that the demand of cyber insurance will be growing soon. So another thing is that this is the last thing. IoT, thanks to 5G, there will be more and more IoT connectivities. Different devices will be connected to the internet. In 2019, they are talking about within the first half years, 3 times of growth of cyber attack happened related to IoT. So IoT security is a different kind of knowledge. It's not a typical TCP/IP application layer in your enterprise organization. It's about your OT, your industry, your factory, your machines being attacked. So the last thing is that I like to talk about is the entrepreneurship. People talk about Airbnb, people talk about car, Grab. Is that a sharing of economy for cybersecurity? Since there's so much problem, you need a lot of money, you need talent to secure a company as a boss. So if there is someone can offer me as a sharing of economy for cybersecurity that can help me to enjoy the use of the talent, save my cost, that will be a good direction that we can look into. I'd like to ask a question. For those people who actually want to be an entrepreneur of cybersecurity, let's look into a possibility. Is there a grant for cybersecurity? So this is something that you still want to think about. Because more and more people are start seeing, and more people agree that cybersecurity has become a hindrance. Because I worry about cybersecurity, ended up, I dare not do a lot of things. Cybersecurity problem has become the challenges and the stumbling block for me to actually adopt innovation. You can think about, hey, can I make cybersecurity as a business enabler? Because this is now a world trend. Globally, more and more people are actually trying to look into cybersecurity investment and budget as a business enabler. They are no longer something that is defensive to secure my environment. Let's turn the way we actually articulate and say, business needs cybersecurity. You do business with me because I'm secure, and because of that, cybersecurity become my business enabler. And one of the good example is the NetAssist ourselves. We invested in the money into actually securing ourselves. We got ourselves ISO 27001 certified, and that is because of that, our customer trusted us and it enabled us to do more business. So with that, I hope I give you some of the thought that I've learned over this period, and that gives you some idea, initial thought to share when you want to develop your career in cybersecurity. Thank you for the time to listen to my sharing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hon. Over to you, Carl.
Okay. Thank you for the insightful sharing, Mr. Ho Pan Ping. Before we move to the Q&A session, we would like to invite all of you to switch on your camera so that we can capture group photos. Yeah. Aaron, please, if this is possible, and you can switch on your camera so that we can capture a group photo.
Right. I think, Carl, thank you. For those of you who are okay to turn on your camera, please do that so that we can, Mr. Hon has spent a lot of time to share with you in terms of the career path and also the trend in cybersecurity. So as a appreciation to Mr. Hon, I think please let's have a group photo so that we all can use this as a remembrance for Mr. Hon's wonderful effort as well as dedication and commitment to the younger generations and also to the next generation as well. So I'd like to encourage everyone, as long as you are not naked, it's okay, just turn it on. Yeah. So please, if you want to find a good job, right? As I always tell the younger generation, the first thing is that you must have a good camera presence. If you don't even have a good camera presence, when you go for the interview, which is mostly online right now, You are not going to give the assurance to your interviewer that you are the right type of person or right type of candidate that he or she wants to hire. If it seems like you are trying to hide something here, hide something there, you are not transparent enough, you are not authentic enough, right? Who do you think will want to hire you, right? That will be the first thing. So if you are ready, and I would love to have you to turn on your camera and ask questions with the camera on, as you heard very clearly from Mr. Horn. What has made his career is actually one word. From being an engineer to an entrepreneur to a boss of the hackers, as he said, right? Is one word. And that one word is being able to articulate and communicate well. Articulate and communicate well. Very, very important, right? So please listen and learn from an industry expert that's gone through the journey and gone through the path. If you truly want to be successful, if you truly want to learn, if you truly want to do better in your career and in your life. I sound like your father right now, but that's what we are here for, okay? To make sure that you learn, to make sure that you grow, to make sure that you become better. Over to you, Carl.
Okay, so everyone, please smile and show your bright white teeth to us. Yeah. Okay, one second. Okay, thank you all for turning on your camera in order for us to take our group photos.
Okay. My apology, my camera doesn't work well today. Doesn't want to listen. Okay.
No issue, Dr. Yu. We understand. Yeah, no issue. That's why. So I think there's some questions, Mr. Hon. Thank you so much, Mr. Hon, for your wonderful sharing. In fact, I myself have learned a lot in terms of the various careers in cybersecurity. You talk about, in fact, we should maybe do some quiz to see whether any of the students have caught it. Well, anyone want to share with Mr. Horn and us what is SIEM? Anyone to volunteer? Did you manage to catch what Mr. Horn shared? What is SIEM? Anyone? Well, if you want to get a job in Mr. Horn's company, that's the first test.
Yeah. Send your CV and tell me what is SIEM.
Right. Well, I mean, that also shows whether you pay attention during the session just now, right? Yeah. Anyone learn what is SIEM? I know he went through real quick, but hey, that's how attentive you are, right? When you're listening to an industry expert, because there's so much to cover. And I learned so much from him actually today. So SIEM. Anyone? Did someone just type it? Very good, Marion. Marion, where are you? Don't be shy. Where are you? Where are you?
I'm here.
Right. Very good. So are you studying cybersecurity, or you already graduated with a cybersecurity degree, or you are one of the cybersecurity hackers?
No, I'm studying cybersecurity actually, but I came here to learn more because I learned very basic only in uni.
Right. Which university are you with, Marion?
Asia Pacific University.
Very good. You're from Asia Pacific University. Excellent. And also very good, Marion. Thank you for answering. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for learning more. Excellent. And I also see Dara. Dara, I believe, is from University of Malaya, right? Dara, very good. You got the correct answer as well. Excellent. Dara, you want to just say hello to everyone?
Hi guys, my name is Daryl. I'm from
you look more like from the screen. You look more like a dark hacker rather than a white.
Probably because of the lighting.
Right. That's why I say when you go for interview, make sure those are some of the basic techniques you must have when you do a virtual interview. Your light must always be what?
In
front of your camera.
Right now, the other part of my house is not accessible.
I know. I'm just kidding. But those are the basic techniques you gotta have when you go for interview, right?
All right. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, you got to make sure that your light is always in front of you, because right now your light is at your back, right? That's why you look very dark. Yeah. So we cannot see your face. But thank you, Darrell. Thank you for taking the initiative. Thank you for taking the time, and thank you for paying attention. I think that's very important. And you too can actually send your resume to Mr. Horn already. All right.
I'll try it out.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, I think we have a questions. Carl, you want to read out the questions from some of the participants? I think Marian also sent out one question earlier, if I remember correctly, right? She was asking what kind of programming language, right?
So for the first question from Marian Wong with me, is it really important to master coding languages in the cybersecurity industry? And what do you recommend a beginner in cybersecurity to master?
Okay, a good hacker or a good pen tester typically are also a good coder, because two things. Number one is that you need to write some scripts. You need to know how application will develop and where is the vulnerability, and you want to actually prove that as a pen tester, when you actually produce a pen test report, you actually typically facing the application developer, and some of them can be quite defensive. So hey, you are talking about finding vulnerability on my application. So some of them started telling you a lot of experience. Oh no, this purposely built like that is not dangerous. So you need to show to them that hey, see, I am building this code and now I'm injecting myself into I can actually come into a network and I was here. So that is why you actually prove a concept to the customer that is exploitable. This is one. Of course, a lot of people will say, oh no, in fact, I've even heard some of the industry experts say that, oh no, you don't need to be an expert in programming, and yet you can be a pen tester. Up to a certain extent, it is not true. It is not true, but it is true and it's not true. Why? Yes, there is some tools that you can use it to scan and find the vulnerability. But the real hacker will need to actually prove how it works, and that's where programming could come in. But to start off as a beginner, of course, attend some of the certified ethical hacking course. They have entry level, they have master level, and that's where you start knowing that what are the tools available in the market or even in open source that you can use to actually do vulnerability scanning. And then from there, how do I prove the vulnerabilities and articulate the report again?
Okay. Thank you for the answer, Mr. Hon. Okay, so the next question would be, which programming languages must we focus more in cybersecurity?
There is not a must, but typically it's going to the market demand. You and I know that there is a lot of organizations are using Python, Java. So these are the language that people use to actually do their whatever application development. And to understand the environment, you shall actually have those knowledge as well. I think C is one of the most powerful language on earth that is good for you to actually get master with.
Thank you for the answer, Mr. Horn. So moving to the next question, is there any technique or skill set that you could suggest to a beginner to learn? And also, is there any way that you can recommend?
Okay. In fact, there are also free knowledge in YouTube for a beginner, and in fact it's a free one. You don't have to pay money. And then there are certain places that you can go in to actually try your skill. I didn't prepare that, but it's easily you can find it on Google to find some of the places that you can actually try your skill. How is your kung fu on hacking? And by the way, do not simply try hacking any organization without permission. A typical security pen test project is designed in such a way that you communicate with the customer, they allow, and then they sign an NDA that actually give you a consensus to scan on them. if you do not get the consensus, this is considered criminal. You are doing the act of intrusion on organization network. That is criminal. Please do not simply try that. Yeah. There is available, you can simply Google, there's a free place for you to try your tactic on hacking. And all this hacking general beginning knowledge is all available in YouTube and all are free.
Thank you for the answer, Mr. Horn. Okay, we'll move to the next question. Which is more valuable for an employer? And also regarding to the cybersecurity in IoT, how different is it from other threats that you have mentioned thus far? And does it require a specialization in this particular sector?
Okay. Let me answer the second question. My CTO, Chief Technology Officer, his name is called Anthony. He studied building material and then from UTM, and then he was working as a project manager in construction site until 30 years old. Suddenly he changed. He decided to become a security and specialist. Today, he is my Chief Technology Officer. He is a certified ethical hacker, and he is a certified consultant. So there is no, it doesn't stop you if you are studying something else, but you are interested in cybersecurity in the industry. You can, never too late. You can do self-learning, or you can start taking some certification course to get yourself familiar and then start joining a cybersecurity company from ground to become like studying as a security analyst or as a junior pen tester, and then you learn your way up from there.
Thank you for the answer, Mr. Hall. Yeah, I guess we have one last question, which is more valuable for an employer? Either is a bachelor degree with a cert or a master degree.
Actually, both are. One, I think master are more academically helping you to do to actually look into things in a very holistic way. Industrial cert help you to deliver projects. For me, I typically this is just for me, not true for everyone else. I typically appreciate certification like CISSP, OSCP, because these are well accepted industry certification, and also our client accept it. For me, as an entrepreneur, I need to actually hire someone who my customer trust them, and there are certain certificate that my customer trust, so I have a chance to do business because my engineer have such certification.
Yeah. Thank you for the answer, Mr. Hall. Yeah, I guess that is all for the question inside the chat. Anyone else have any question? You may raise your hand. I'll be happy by giving you permission to unmute yourself and ask directly to the speaker.
Right. While we're waiting for you all to come out, take this opportunity. As I say, Mr. Horn is a very busy person, and on the Saturday, for him to share his much valuable time with the family, with us. So please take advantage, make full use of his time with us today. So, Mr. Horn, in the meantime, while we're waiting for the students to come up with any other questions that they might have, what would you say in terms of the supply side of cybersecurity, quote unquote, talent in Malaysia? Is it enough, or is it not enough, or is it hard to find? Is it easy to find?
Okay, so far we are still having quite a serious problem of not enough cybersecurity talent. But compared to other regions, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, our problems are not as serious. Their problems are even more serious, which is, you can see it, actually every problem there is an opportunity. There is a trend. In fact, we are seeing even Thailand and Indonesia, their salary, their paid skill are higher than Malaysia. We have seen many talent in Malaysia ended up they got good job from Singapore, from even Indonesia. They got their expert trade package, and their pay is higher than Malaysia because comparatively their problem are more serious. Their demand is even higher than us. So they are fighting for resources.
Right. So that means for young people who wants to go into cybersecurity, there's whole loads of opportunities, not just in this country, but also actually bigger even in the region, right? In
Correct.
Thailand, in Indonesia, in Singapore, like you mentioned. So fantastic opportunity for those who are truly seriously wants to pursue the cybersecurity career. Very good. Yeah.
Mr. Michael, can I ask one question?
Definitely, Dr. Yu, please go ahead.
Sorry, my this video cam is not functioning. So
No worries.
Okay, Mr. Michael, the question is how this cybersecurity applies to the law enforcement agencies. What is your view and opinion about cybersecurity in the enforcement agency?
Very good questions. Yeah, over to you, Mr. Hong. Yeah.
Okay. In fact, cybercrime is getting more serious, and cybercrime is more profitable than prostitution and drugs and smuggling combined. So the law enforcement today, in fact, our Malaysian, I say NACSA and the police department actually have the specific department looking into cybersecurity. But I think they themselves also having some challenge of not enough resources and talent able to help most organizations to solve this problem. And then again, the awareness of the danger and the impact of cybercrime is not good enough. So which is why a lot of people still take it lightly about cybercrime. You hear about cybersecurity in Malaysia, keep on talking about it, but you still hear a lot of big problem of business email compromise. Now someone got an email asking them to pay someone else, which is outside our country, and people still actually drop into this and still actually fall into this kind of traps. That is a sign that cyber criminals are still actually looking at all these sweet spot. It's easier to target at them. And our law enforcement has not really gone strong enough to actually enforce this, and in fact, a lot of people actually still confused. Should I talk to MCMC, or should I talk to the police department, or should I talk to NACSA? So there's still such confusion now.
So Mr. Hong, which will be the right if quote unquote, if organization is being impacted or being ransom hacked, right? Who if they are unregulated industry, for example, they don't belong to the financial industry services, which definitely the first place to go is Bank Negara, right? So if you are in an unregulated industry like what you mentioned, which actually is getting the biggest exposure right now because they are not regulated, right? Like the services part of it when I saw your chart that you showed just now. So who should they go to? Do they just go to the police, or do they go to MCMC, or who should they go to?
Now, the way I understand, which I after talking to them, is that talk to the police department. And because the police department will then, due to certain technical expertise, the police department will then collaborate with the MCMC. We don't report a crime to the MCMC, we report the crime to the police.
Okay. So good, very good. Dr. Yu, hopefully that answers some of your questions. I think you're also asking about how is the cybersecurity in law enforcement area. I'm not sure whether you are specifically pointing to Malaysia or globally, because definitely I think from my perspective, is that many countries, even I think in the US, are still finding difficulty either from a CIA, from FBI perspective to catch up with the cybersecurity attacks, vulnerability, threats, everything which is happening consistently right now. So even the US will have this challenge, let alone a lot of other countries. So as you can see, probably most of you have heard in the news about the recent ransomware attack, even on the gas pipeline, on the oil pipeline, right? Yeah, so all these are national security issue right now. As Mr. Hon has mentioned, they are not only targeting quote unquote traditional financial institution, but financial institutions has all raised up their defense right now because the requirement from each regulator. But companies such as the Naga, such as even a logistic company, shipping company, right, or even medical hospitals, consumer product company, they're all under a lot of vulnerability right now because the defense on cybersecurity for those industry are still, I guess, still need to be improved a lot. right? Over to you, Mr. Hon. I believe you probably have a better input.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Michael.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome, Dr. Yu. Yeah, I guess for the students, I guess you all have seen there's so much opportunity in cybersecurity career, right? Yeah, can someone just name some of the career opportunity that Mr. Hon has mentioned just now? You don't even have to be so technical, right? But there's so many other opportunities that you can actually do in cybersecurity. Anyone wants to just type or mention what are some of the cybersecurity careers that you can pursue? Anyone?
Yeah, just now, actually, I want to here also mention, because the one of the question was that among all these different careers, which one is the best? I say to me, there is no one best one, because I have seen engineer having a high pay because he's so good in one specific area. You see, cybersecurity, the solution themselves, there's data leakage prevention, there's encryption, there are log monitoring, there are also different like endpoint, firewall. So there are many different technology, and different technology, different segment require different engineering expertise to actually manage or maintain or make it optimized. For example, a bank, I want to actually implement data leakage prevention, and then it take a different kind of specialties who understand what is the data classification, how do I make my policy to actually capture the right data leakage potential. So how do I roll out my data leakage prevention? That is a different aspect compared to another guy who understand about identity management. Identity management is okay, how do I make sure the password has been secured, onboarding of staff, and then when staff resign, how do I offload some of these right from him? So these are another expertise. So those people, typically, some of them can actually pay up to like even 40,000-50,000 ringgit of income a month. I've seen this consultant kind of pay. And does that mean this is the highest pay? No. I've seen consultants, they do not know how to implement firewall. Technically, they are not good in doing some troubleshooting of firewall or network, but they actually even higher pay. So there's no one single job say, okay, this is the highest pay, let's do this job. Consultant, there is a good one, there's a bad one. Engineer, pen tester also. So there's it depends on your interest rather than the pay. If you're good, your pay will be good.
Right, very well said, Mr. Hon. So anyone have any other questions in terms of a career? Because I believe most of you joining today, you wanted to find out more about the cybersecurity career. And also most of you are probably studying some sort of related to cybersecurity courses or close to cybersecurity courses. But as you can see, as Mr. Hon shared just now, there's so many different careers paths that you can take in cybersecurity, right? Not just one. Yeah, so any other questions that you have? Take this opportunity with Mr. Hon when he's with us right now. No?
Yeah, I guess there's two more questions coming up from the chat.
Good.
Which is for the startup company, is that important to implement a cybersecurity, and what is the struggle that you face during starting a cybersecurity company?
My struggle is that, surprisingly, my struggle is not so much of money though. Not that I'm rich, but it's just that my struggle is that to find the right talent pool to actually come up with a concept that can meet a market needs. When after a while, actually, I know that, okay, this is the market gap that people want to do security operations center. So I know that there is such a need. I look for the talent with a piece of paper, a few pages of recommendation. In fact, I was actually quite lucky. Investors are willing to pump in money, and that's how I started my career. So what I'm trying to say is that money is, of course, very important for a startup. But if you have a good idea, many people will fighting to fund you. So then the only challenge is that how do I get the right team to show to the investors, say, hey, I've got the right team, this is the cool people, and you give me money, I'm going to pay salary for them, and we'll build a company. So that should finding the right partner, finding the right talent, and finding the right market to target is the more priority than finding the money.
Thank you for the answer, Mr. Horn. Yeah, I guess we will have one last question before we end the session. What is your opinion on e-learn security certificates like EJPT and ECPPT?
I think this will be the future moving forward, and which is why I say training. What I say is that really important. There's many approach. Trainer is one of the approaches to meet the certain market demand for the corporate organized that they need trainers to actually train continuously for the security awareness. But for certain organizations, especially SME or small organization, they want to leverage on this kind of resources, and this will be online training will be the way to go. So I think I strongly believe that security awareness training courses, security knowledge courses will be in great demand. It's a good business that you should get yourself involved in.
Okay, thank you for the answer, Mr. Horn. Yeah, I guess we have reached to the end time of this webinar session. And hopefully, today all of you have known and learned a lot from our webinar sessions. We would like to invite all of you to participate in the survey form to leave us some feedback in order to improve ourselves. You may scan the QR code that provided by us and fill it in the survey. And once again, thank you all for joining us this morning. We hope you have enjoyed our webinar as much as we have enjoyed hosting this webinar for you. And also, before the session's end, please do not forget to join us on the Global Network Initiative WhatsApp group with the QR code that has been provided by our team. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Horn, again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your wonderful sharing. I'm sure all our attendees have benefited a lot from what you've shared. If in the future, I'm sure. In fact, we have over 100 people participated, right? Just now. Yeah, so it's very, very good. It's one of the highest in terms of attendance to registration ratio. Right. So Mr. Hon, well done. Thank you so much again. And for the rest of our participants, please quickly give us some scan the QR code and just a survey so that we can continue to organize webinars, sessions, coaching sessions, mentoring sessions, career sessions, which will be beneficial for your career. So please help us quickly to scan it. Just take 1 minute. And with that, once you're done, I would like everyone to say thank you again to Mr. Horn, for his time and also for his wonderful sharing and insight. Mr. Horn, are you okay for us to share your email to the attendees if they do want to continue to engage with you, whether it's a LinkedIn or which way is the best way for them to engage?
Email is good because I usually get a lot of emails. LinkedIn message I seldom because there's too many LinkedIn messages sometimes.
Right. Yeah. So email will be the best way to reach out.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, very good. And is your company hiring internship?
Yeah, indeed we are. Internship, yes, indeed we are. You are,
right?
Yeah, we are.
Very good. So you're hiring interns. Are you also hiring fresh graduates as well?
Both. In fact, I always start to say we are having shortage of talent. So whoever have the talent, the shortage, that guy will be successful. So I want to be successful. So I hire more people.
Great. So everyone, you have heard what Mr. Horn has just said. He's definitely looking for interns. He's definitely looking for fresh graduates. In fact, he has to get a lot of talent, cybersecurity talent to come on board. So please don't hesitate to send in your resume so that at least you have a chance to see to explore further in this cybersecurity career journey. All right. So, Carl, have you gotten most of our attendees to help with this 1 minute survey?
So it's still ongoing. 1 second, so let me check the survey first.
Okay, yeah. So how many have you gotten? Yeah. So please help us so that we can do better a webinar, invite good presenters and speakers like Mr. Horn to share with you all the industry relevant trends, relevant knowledge, that you can only get it from someone who is actually running the company, from someone who is actually doing the business right now. right? So academic institution definitely is a very good in terms of your learning, in terms of your preparations, in terms of your foundations. But in order to continue to grow your career, you do have to start engaging with the industry expert or with the industry professionals as well. As I always say, for your age group right now, especially if you are still in college, chances are your friends or your college mates cannot hire you. Only people like Mr. Horn can hire you, or people who are more senior than you can hire you. So please also open up your network. That's why GNI, the Global Network Initiative, is for. Because I notice that a lot of times when we are at your age, we also only hang out with our own age group. But when we try to look for a job, my friends cannot hire me. My college mate cannot hire me. They're also looking for a job. In fact, they become my competitors sometimes as well, right? Because if you're from the same college, from the same course, or so from the same degree, we're actually looking for the same job. So you need to network with people who are older than you, you're senior than you, and also definitely different generations who are already the CEOs, the COO, the CTO, the CISO, CISO, right? What is CISO? Remember everyone? Which Mr. Hon shared just now? Yeah. So you gotta network with them as well, so that your opportunity for work is a lot wider rather than just among your own age group. Yeah. So that's what GNI is for. So we hope to get you to prepare your career and to prepare your life a lot better, because career is a big part of your life. Whether you are going to be an entrepreneur later in your life, like Mr. Horn has taken, or whether you're going to be a professional in your whole career, right? As like what I've done most of the time, right? Either way, it's a big part of your life, right? Your career and your business. So do continue to learn, do continue to get better. As I always say, right? Talent, most of us are talented, most of you are very talented, but hard work always beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. All right. So, Carl, are we done with all the survey?
Right now, we have received 41 survey.
Right,
but I
right.
guess,
Okay, we still have the remaining half of you. Please quickly, it just won't take 1 minute to do it. That to understand what are web session, coaching session, what are industry speakers that we can invite to help to help you better. And Mr. Horn, yeah, because like I say, yeah, all these are CEOs, right? Their times is very valuable, as you heard, right? That even the consultant can make about 40 to 50,000. So his time is definitely a lot of money for him to spend this time with us free. This is a community service project for him and for us, for all of us. So please be grateful and be appreciative, because one thing in life that I noticed that I would like to hire young people who are grateful. I would like to hire young people who are appreciative, right? Because if you are not grateful to what you have and to what you have been given, you are not going to be grateful to the company that you work for. So most companies, like the CEOs like Mr. Horn, will want to hire someone that is grateful, that is appreciative, right? That rather than someone who's selfish, who only think about themselves. Right, Mr. Horn?
Very true, very true. So sometimes we behave like a parents in the company.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Because it's our responsibility, right? Yeah. Our belief has always been our next generation has to be better than our current generation. If our next generation is not doing better than our current generation, there's only two reasons. One, we have not done our job good enough. Second, you have not done your part good enough. Right? Yeah. So as a parent, that's what we want, right? Same thing as running a business. A good CEO, a good leaders are usually, in a way, they are good parents as well. Because management leadership is like parenting, right? We'll love you unconditionally, but at the same time, we do have demand, we do have standard, we do have excellence that we want you to achieve, because that's the only way you can get better in life and in your career. Yeah. So please don't get mad with your bosses in the future when they demand you to be better, because that is what you have to be. Because that's what they're trying to make you a better person, a stronger generation than our generation. I'm sure Dr. Yu will demand the same thing from his students as well, right, Dr. Yu?
Yes.
So that they become better, right?
Yes.
right? Because that's our responsibility. If we don't do our part, that means we're not done our responsibility. But you also need to do your part so that you also become better, right? Because there's only so much your parent, there's only so much your CEO, there's only so much your lecturer, your professors can guide you. The other half, you have to do it yourself. Make sense? Dr. Yu, is that correct?
Yes, agree.
Thank you. I think people like Dr. Yu who are in academic, the reason why I'm very appreciative to all our educationalists, right? Professionals like Dr. Yu who dedicate themselves to students, because this is how we make you better. They dedicate their life hopefully to make you stronger than us, than our own generation. Right? So, but you also have to do your part as well. We can only do half of it. You have to do the other half of it. Make sense? I think, Mr. Horn, enough from me. Any final advice you want to give it to them?
I think I'm quite in line with what Michael you say is that technologies is important, knowledge is important, but at the end of the day, the behavior of our attitude towards the communication of people around, know how to say thankful, and actually have a good attitude. That actually the key driver to be successful in cybersecurity. Also, I think it's the same to any industry.
Right, in life as a whole, right? Yeah. No matter what industry you want to take on, right? Yeah. Be grateful every morning when you wake up. Be grateful. Yeah, to your parents, to your professors, to your lecturers, to your friends who have brought you around, who have bring you to where you are today. As I always say in life, you are the average of the 5 person that you're most associated with. You're the average of the 5 person you're most associated with. So associate with people that you want to emulate, associate with people that is your role model, so that you can be there. Otherwise, you'll always be the average of the 5 person that you always associate with. Make sense? All right. Thank you, everyone. Carl, can we close it? Because I don't want to hold Mr. On. He has spent close to 2 hours with us. Dr. Yu spent more than close to 2 hours with us already.
Yeah. We actually we have received most of the survey right now, I guess.
Very good. Very good. For those of you who have not done it, please quickly do it. Just scan it, then you can do it right after this. I think we need to close it because I don't want to hold Mr. Horn and also Dr. Yu as well. Thank you, everyone. Carl, you want to close it, or you have your thank you speech as well?
Yeah, I guess just thank you all for joining this webinar session, and I hope it helps you in your career. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you again, Mr. Horn, and thank you, Dr. Yu, for joining us this morning. Goodbye,
thank you very much.
We'll see you.
Take care. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Take good care. Yeah. Stay safe and keep well. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.